Ladies and gentlemen, you've got to understand something right now. At this very moment, you are enough. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. It doesn't matter how many times you've stumbled or failed or how many times you've been told you're not good enough. You are, you've always been. See, the world is going to tell you a lot of things. People are going to try to define you based on where you come from, the color of your skin, how much money is in your bank account, or how many times you've messed up. But you know what? That's not who you are. That's not your value. Your value comes from within. It comes from what you believe about yourself, about your purpose, about what you are meant to do in this life. You've been created with everything you need to succeed, but you've got to know that. You've got to believe that. Because if you don't, no one else is going to do it for you. They'll doubt you. They'll judge you. And if you buy into their doubts, you will never live up to your potential. Now, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to have the world tell you that you're not enough. I know what it's like to feel like you're constantly fighting uphill, like you're swimming against a current that never lets up. But let me tell you something, the fight isn't against the world, it's against yourself. The battle isn't about proving your worth to others. It's about proving your worth to yourself. How many times have you told yourself you're not enough? How many times have you said to yourself, I can't do this or I'm not good enough for this? How many times have you let the voice of doubt creep in just when you're on the edge of greatness? It's time to shut that voice down. It's time to stop letting fear and doubt run your life. You've got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am enough, and not just say it, but believe it. Because once you believe it, everything changes. When you know you're enough, you stop chasing approval from others. You stop trying to live up to someone else's expectations, and you start living up to your own. But here's the thing, just because you're enough doesn't mean everything is going to be easy. Just because you're enough doesn't mean you're not going to face challenges, setbacks, and pain. No, life will test you. It's going to throw obstacles in your way that will try to break you down. But listen, those obstacles are the very things that are shaping you into the person you're meant to become. Every single failure, every single setback is a lesson. It's a step in the journey. You don't grow when everything is easy. You don't grow when you're comfortable. You grow when you're tested, when you're pushed beyond your limits, when you fall and you get back up. You grow when you face the struggle, stare it in the face and say, I'm not backing down. See, the world may tell you that success is about how much money you make or how famous you get or how many followers you have. That's not success. Success is about resilience. It's about getting up every single time you fall. It's about knowing that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many people try to knock you down, you are enough to overcome it. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it's going to be easy. It's not. The road is tough, the path is winding, and sometimes you will want to quit. You'll want to give up, throw in the towel, and walk away. But when that moment comes, when you feel like throwing in the towel, when you feel like you've got nothing left, that's when you need to dig deeper. Because what's in you is greater than the circumstances around you. What's inside of you is the power to rise above it all, to rise above the noise, the negativity, the doubt. But you've got to tap into it. You've got to trust it. You've got to let it guide you when everything else is pulling you in the other direction. People are going to try to tell you who you are. They're going to try to define you by your mistakes, by your past, by your failures. But they don't get to tell you who you are. You get to decide that. And when you decide, when you make the decision that you are enough, something shifts. It's not just a mindset, it's a lifestyle. You start moving differently. You start speaking differently. You start walking into every room with the belief that you belong there, that you deserve success, that you have a purpose. And you know what happens when you walk into a room with that kind of confidence? You command respect. People will see it. People will feel it. But here's the secret: when you walk into a room and you know you're enough, it's not about proving anything to anyone. It's about recognizing that you have everything you need to make it. You don't need to ask for permission. You don't need to wait for validation. You've already got what it takes. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're not enough. Don't let anyone make you question your worth. It's easy for people to tear you down, to tell you what you're doing wrong, to point out your flaws. But don't you dare let their words become your truth. When you know you're enough, you learn to focus on what matters. You stop wasting time trying to prove yourself to people who don't matter. And you start focusing on building yourself, strengthening your mind, body, and soul. You start focusing on the work that's in front of you. You start focusing on becoming the person you were always meant to be. You've got to stop looking around at everyone else's progress and feeling behind. You've got to stop comparing your journey to someone else's. Your path is your own. Your timing is your own. And just because someone else is further down the road doesn't mean you're not exactly where you need to be. You are enough, exactly as you are, in this moment, with everything you've got. But listen, you're not meant to stay here forever. You're meant to grow, to evolve, to get better. You're meant to be the best version of yourself, and that takes time, effort, and patience. So don't get discouraged. Don't get caught up in the setbacks or the mistakes. Don't get caught up in the distractions. Stay focused. Stay disciplined, and above all, stay consistent. Success isn't about one big break, it's about the daily work, the small steps, the consistent effort you put in every single day. You've got to show up. Even when you don't feel like it, even when things aren't going your way, even when the world tries to tell you that you're not enough, show up anyway. Because there's something powerful about persistence. There's something powerful about refusing to quit. There's something powerful about choosing to believe in yourself, even when no one else does. And when you do that, when you show up, when you believe in yourself, when you refuse to let anyone or anything tell you that you're not enough, that's when you will see the change. But it's not just about believing you're enough in the big moments, in the moments when the world is watching. It's about believing you're enough in the small moments too. It's about the way you treat yourself when no one else is around. It's about how you speak to yourself, how you take care of your mind and body, how you show up for yourself when there's no applause, no recognition. Those are the moments that matter. Those are the moments that define you. Because when you treat yourself like you're enough, when you believe you're enough, you're building the foundation for everything else in your life. You're setting yourself up for the success that's waiting for you. So remember this, you are enough. Not because of what you've done or what you've accomplished. Not because of what anyone else says, but because of who you are. Because you've been created with purpose, with potential, and with power. And it's time to start acting like it. It's time to start living like it. And it's time to start believing in yourself like it. Because you are enough, and you've always been. Your worth is not determined by external validation, past mistakes, or the opinions of others. True value comes from within, and you have everything you need to succeed. Believing in yourself and your own potential is the foundation for achieving greatness. Life is full of challenges, failures, and setbacks, but those obstacles are essential to your growth. Success is not about avoiding difficulties. It's about showing up every day, staying disciplined, and persisting even when things get tough. Keep pushing forward because each small step matters. Stop comparing your journey to others. Your path is unique and your timing is your own. Stay focused on your personal growth, keep improving, and trust that you are exactly where you need to be. Don't seek validation from the outside world, build confidence from within. You are enough. Let that statement sink in for a moment. Because the truth is, too many people spend their entire lives chasing something they already possess. We live in a world where validation from others, external markers of success, and the opinions of society dictate our sense of self-worth. We're constantly told that we need to be more, do more, have more in order to be considered worthy. But the most powerful truth you can internalize, the one that will free you and transform your life, is that you are enough just as you are right now, in this moment, with all your flaws, imperfections, and dreams. We've all heard the phrase, you're not enough. It's a message that gets reinforced everywhere. From the media to social media, from our families to our workplaces, there's always some external force telling us we need to be more to be worthy of success, love, or respect. The truth is, we've been conditioned to believe that our value is tied to our achievements, to what we do, what we have, and what others think of us. We chase after goals and accolades in an attempt to prove our worth. But the moment we achieve something, we immediately set our sights on the next goal, the next thing that will complete us. But here's the reality: you were never incomplete. The pursuit of more isn't what's going to fulfill you. It's a false promise, a trap that keeps you running in circles, always striving, never fully embracing the truth of who you are. The more we chase after what we think will make us worthy, the more disconnected we become from the most fundamental truth of all: you are enough right now. Think about the times when you felt insecure, inadequate. Maybe you didn't feel good enough because you weren't where you thought you should be in life. Maybe you didn't feel smart enough, talented enough, or attractive enough. Those feelings are normal to a degree, but they're also a reflection of the stories we tell ourselves about what we should be. And those stories are often lies we've accepted without question. What we've forgotten, what we've been taught to ignore, is that our worth is inherent, not earned. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You don't need to meet anyone's expectations. You don't need to hit certain milestones or achieve certain things to be worthy of love, respect, or success. You are already worthy because of who you are, not because of what you do. The fact that you exist with your unique experiences, talents, and perspective is enough. Your value doesn't come from the outside world, it comes from within. We are all constantly bombarded by images of perfection. Instagram, Facebook, and other social platforms curate idealized versions of people's lives, leading many to believe that there's some perfect version of themselves they need to live up to. But if you constantly compare yourself to others, you'll never feel like you measure up. There will always be someone who seems to have more, do more, or be more. And when you compare your life to someone else's, it's easy to forget that what you see on the outside is only part of the picture. The external success, the filtered photos, the perfectly curated posts, those don't tell the full story. They don't tell you the struggles, the failures, or the personal battles behind the scenes. But if you're constantly measuring your life by someone else's, you'll never be able to fully appreciate your own journey. You'll never understand that your life, with all its twists and turns, challenges and victories, is unique and meaningful. It doesn't matter where you are right now or how much you've accomplished compared to others. What matters is that you are on your path, and that path is enough. The real challenge is learning to silence the voices inside your head, the voices that tell you that you're not enough. These voices often come from years of conditioning from parents or teachers who may have unknowingly projected their own insecurities onto you, from classmates who made you feel inferior, from societal standards that tell you how to look, how to act, how to live. These voices have shaped your sense of self, but they don't define you. They never have. You are not the voice of your insecurities. You are the voice of your inner strength and your potential. If you truly want to embrace the fact that you are enough, you have to be willing to quiet those external and internal voices that tell you otherwise. You have to stop seeking validation from people who may never truly understand your worth. You have to stop trying to live up to standards that were never yours to begin with. Your worth is not determined by the number of followers you have or the accolades you've collected. Your worth is defined by the simple fact that you are alive, that you are unique, and that you have the power to create your own future. It's easy to forget that everyone has their own struggles. The person you admire for their success may have faced rejection, doubt, or failure many times before they got to where they are. And they're still figuring things out. We all are. We're all just trying to navigate the complexities of life, each of us on our own journey. So why compare yourself to someone else when you don't know their full story? Instead of focusing on the distance between where you are and where you think you should be, focus on the distance you've already come. Focus on your own growth, your own progress. You are enough in the sense that you are exactly where you need to be right now. You don't need to be anyone else or try to meet someone else's expectations. You are enough just as you are right here, right now. The life you've lived, the lessons you've learned, the scars you've earned, they all add up to the person you are today. Those experiences, both good and bad, have shaped you into someone uniquely capable of navigating this world. You have something to offer, something valuable. And it comes from your authentic self, not from the version of you that the world tells you to be. So let go of the idea that you need to be something more to be worthy. Let go of the idea that you need to prove yourself to anyone. It's time to embrace your true worth. You are enough right now. That doesn't mean you should stop growing or stop striving for improvement. Personal growth is important. But don't make the mistake of thinking that you have to become someone else or achieve certain things to be worthy. You are worthy because you exist, and that is enough. Once you truly internalize this idea that you are enough as you are without any external validation, you begin to change the way you live. You stop chasing approval. You stop fearing failure. You start to live with authenticity. You start to make decisions that align with your true self, not the version of yourself that others want you to be. And the more you embrace the fact that you are enough, the more confident and empowered you become. The more you start to see the beauty in who you are, the more you can appreciate what you have and what you can do. This doesn't mean you'll never have moments of doubt. It doesn't mean you won't face setbacks or failures. But it does mean that when those challenges come, you will no longer define them as signs of your inadequacy. Instead, you will see them for what they are: opportunities for growth, chances to learn, ways to become even more of who you are meant to be. Every step you take, every decision you make should be rooted in the belief that you are enough. And as you move through life with this belief, you will begin to see the world differently. You will begin to attract the people and opportunities that align with your authentic self. You will stop seeking external approval because you will already know your own worth. And in doing so, you will unlock your true potential, because when you believe you are enough, you stop holding yourself back. You stop letting fear or doubt dictate your actions. Instead, you take bold steps toward your goals, knowing that you have everything you need to succeed. The truth is, you don't have to wait for something or someone else to validate you. You are enough right now. And once you truly embrace that, you will begin to live a life of purpose, confidence, and fulfillment. Your worth has never been in question. It's time to stop questioning it yourself. Resilience and consistency, these two qualities are the bedrock of success, yet so many people overlook them or underestimate their importance. In a world where instant gratification is the norm, where social media amplifies the idea of overnight success, it's easy to forget that true achievement, the kind that lasts, is built on persistence and the ability to get up time after time, no matter how hard the journey is. Resilience is the ability to bounce back when life knocks you down. It's the mental toughness, the strength of spirit that allows you to face setbacks and continue moving forward. It's not about avoiding difficulties or escaping pain. Resilience is the ability to endure through those tough moments, to stay focused on your vision and keep pushing ahead, even when the road is rough. And consistency. Consistency is the quiet, steady effort you put in day after day, even when you don't feel like it, even when the results are not immediately visible. Consistency is the discipline to keep showing up, to do the work, even when the world around you is not validating your efforts. Together, resilience and consistency form the foundation of personal growth, achievement, and long-term success. Too many people give up too soon. They set a goal, try for a little while, and then when things don't immediately unfold as expected, they quit. The disappointment hits, and they believe the dream is not possible or that they're just not cut out for it. But here's the thing: nobody, no matter how successful they appear, gets it right on the first try. No one gets it perfect every single time. Success is a result of consistent effort over time, of picking yourself up after every failure and trying again with more wisdom, more strength, and a renewed commitment. The reality is that setbacks and failures are inevitable. You are going to face rejection, you're going to hit walls, you're going to feel frustrated. But if you give up at the first sign of difficulty, you are cutting yourself off from growth. The truth is, failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of success. Each failure is simply a lesson in what doesn't work, a stepping stone that leads you closer to what does. Every time you fall and rise again, you become more equipped to handle the next challenge. With every setback, you develop new muscles, mental muscles, emotional muscles that allow you to build the kind of resilience that cannot be shaken. Resilience is the difference between those who give up and those who push through. It's the choice to keep going, even when everything inside you wants to quit. It's the realization that just because something is hard doesn't mean it's not worth it. The greatest people in history, the ones who achieved the most, didn't get there because they never faced challenges. They got there because they faced their challenges head on, and they never stopped pushing forward. Think about the legends, whether it's athletes, musicians, entrepreneurs, or historical figures. Almost all of them have a story that includes major failures, public setbacks, and moments when it seemed like success was out of reach. But they kept going, they kept pushing. They didn't let the setbacks define them. Instead, they used those experiences to fuel their determination. Now, resilience doesn't mean you're immune to frustration. It doesn't mean that you won't feel discouraged. In fact, resilience often involves feeling the full weight of the struggle, sitting with the pain of failure, and still choosing to keep moving forward. It's about acknowledging that setbacks are hard, but deciding that you won't let them stop you. This is where consistency comes in. You might not feel like getting up again. You might not feel motivated to keep working, especially when the results aren't showing up as quickly as you'd hoped. But the power of consistency is that it doesn't rely on motivation. Consistency is about doing the work even when you don't feel like it, even when it seems like your efforts aren't paying off. The problem with many people is they think that success is a straight line. They believe that if they do the right things, they should see results immediately. But life doesn't work like that. The road to success is rarely linear. There are detours, setbacks, and moments where the progress you expect isn't visible. But when you keep showing up day after day, no matter how hard it gets, eventually the results will come. This is the power of consistency. The key to success is not a series of bursts of energy or efforts that happen in a flurry when you feel inspired. No, the key is the quiet, steady commitment to the process, to the small daily actions that compound over time and lead to real progress. Imagine you're working toward a goal, say to lose weight or build a business. At first, the results come quickly. You feel motivated and inspired, but then after a while, the progress slows down. Maybe you hit a plateau. Maybe things don't seem to be working as well as they did in the beginning. This is where most people give up. They expect a constant upward trajectory. But success isn't about a constant ascent, it's about persevering through the moments of plateau, the times when the results don't come as quickly, and keeping at it. Consistency doesn't demand perfection. It demands that you simply show up, even when the external rewards are slow to come. Resilience and consistency work together to create momentum. At first, momentum might seem slow, like you're pushing a boulder up a hill. But with each small, consistent effort, the boulder starts to move and it starts to roll faster. The thing is, you won't see that momentum immediately. But it's building, it's compounding in the background, even when you can't see it. And then one day, when you least expect it, you'll look up and realize that the boulder is moving fast. And you're closer to your goal than you ever thought possible. This is where the magic happens, the moment when resilience and consistency begin to pay off. And it happens when you least expect it, when you've pushed through the most difficult moments, when you've kept going in the face of doubt. You have to trust that the work you're putting in today, the effort you're making, will come to fruition even if it doesn't happen immediately. Your consistency is the key to unlocking that momentum. Your resilience ensures that when setbacks inevitably occur, they won't derail you. You keep going, you keep showing up, and you keep trusting that your hard work is slowly but surely taking you where you need to go. Think about it like this: if you take a single step towards your goal every day, even if it's just a small step, after a year, that's 365 steps. Even when progress seems slow, those small steps add up. But if you stop, even for a short time, you lose that momentum, and you're back at square one. Resilience means that when you face a setback, you get back up. And consistency means you keep moving forward. In addition, resilience teaches you the importance of adapting to the circumstances. Life rarely goes exactly as planned, and the ability to pivot, adjust, and modify your approach is key to long-term success. Resilience doesn't mean blindly pushing forward without considering new information or learning from your mistakes. Consistency, on the other hand, is the foundation of that process. Without consistency, your efforts will be erratic. There may be moments when you feel like everything is coming together, but if you let those moments pass without maintaining the effort, you won't see sustainable progress. Consistency is about showing up, even when the passion isn't there, even when motivation is low, even when the results aren't immediately obvious. If you look at any successful person, whether they're an athlete, an entrepreneur, an artist, or anyone who has achieved greatness, the one common factor they share is consistency. They didn't quit when things got tough. They didn't throw in the towel when they faced failure. They stayed committed, put in the work, and pushed through the hard times with resilience. And over time, their consistent efforts compounded, leading them to success. There's no shortcut, no magic formula that will bring you success overnight. The key to achieving anything worthwhile is simple: be resilient enough to keep going and be consistent enough to keep putting in the work day after day. Success doesn't happen in an instant. It's a process, a journey, and it requires you to be willing to face failure, bounce back, and continue moving forward. With resilience and consistency, there's nothing you can't accomplish. The world today has made it incredibly easy to fall into the trap of comparison. With social media platforms constantly feeding us curated images of other people's lives, it can feel like everyone is ahead of us, achieving more, doing better, and living more fulfilling lives. We scroll through these snapshots of success and wonder why we aren't where we think we should be. We measure our lives against others, and in doing so, we often forget one very important thing: we are all on our own journey. The truth is, when you focus too much on comparing yourself to others, you lose sight of who you are and where you're going. You forget that your journey is unique and that success is not one size fits all. What works for one person may not work for you, and the timelines that others follow don't necessarily apply to your life. The only person you should be comparing yourself to is the person you were yesterday. The only competition you have is with your own potential. It's important to recognize that comparison breeds dissatisfaction. It distorts reality and sets up false expectations. When you compare your life to someone else's highlight reel, you miss the full picture. You see their success, but you don't see the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the failures, or the behind-the-scenes struggles. What you're looking at is a carefully selected moment in time, not their entire life. The illusion of perfection that social media creates can easily trick us into thinking that we're falling short, but it's not real. And even if it were, it doesn't matter. Their journey is theirs, and your journey is yours. There is a dangerous habit in constantly measuring your progress against others. The first issue is that comparisons often come from a place of insecurity. You might think you're not good enough because someone else is further along in their career, relationships, or health. The underlying assumption is that you should be where they are, doing what they're doing. But success is not a linear process. It is not a race. We are not all going to end up in the same place, and we certainly are not all going to get there in the same way. What works for one person is not guaranteed to work for another, and the time it takes to get where you want to go will be different for everyone. When you start comparing yourself to others, you undermine your own self-worth. Instead of celebrating your individual progress, you dismiss it because it doesn't match someone else's timeline. You measure your self-esteem by what other people have achieved or by what you think you should have accomplished. This is a dangerous game because it means you're basing your value on external factors, not on your own intrinsic qualities, strengths, and accomplishments. Your worth has nothing to do with how much someone else has, how much they've achieved, or how fast they've gotten there. It's about who you are, the unique path you are on, and how much progress you've made. Comparison can also lead to feelings of jealousy, resentment, and frustration. You see someone else getting the opportunities or recognition you think you deserve, and that triggers an emotional response that leaves you feeling less than or like you're somehow falling behind. The problem is that jealousy is a signal that you're looking outside of yourself for validation. It's an indication that you believe someone else's success is a reflection of your own inadequacies. But their success has nothing to do with you. When you focus on their progress, you divert energy away from your own growth. Instead of cultivating gratitude for the good in your life, you spend time resenting what you don't have. And that leaves you feeling empty and unfulfilled. The key to breaking free from this trap of comparison is to shift your focus inward. You have to remind yourself that your worth is not determined by how you measure up to anyone else. You are not here to live someone else's life. You are here to live your own. And your journey is valid, even if it looks different from someone else's. Once you shift your focus from others to yourself, you start to realize that the only person you need to compete with is the version of yourself from yesterday. You don't need to be faster, richer, or more successful than someone else. You just need to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. When you focus on yourself, you begin to see that success as a personal journey, not a race. Everyone's life takes a different path, and there's no one right way to do things. Your life is not a checklist of accomplishments that you have to tick off in a certain order. You don't need to follow anyone else's timeline, and you don't need to achieve anything to prove that you're enough. Progress isn't about being the best in comparison to someone else. It's about being the best version of yourself at your own pace. Realizing this truth is liberating because it allows you to shed the weight of comparison and focus on what really matters: your growth, your well-being, and your happiness. The best way to stop comparing yourself to others is to practice self-awareness. Pay attention to when you feel insecure or inadequate because of someone else's achievements. Notice the thoughts that arise when you scroll through social media or talk to people who seem to have it all together. Recognize that these thoughts are not truth. They are simply emotional reactions to your own internal beliefs about what success looks like. In those moments, take a step back and remind yourself that what you see on the outside is not the full story. You are only seeing the curated version of someone's life, and what you don't see is just as important as what you do see. The second step is to practice gratitude for your own life. Shift your focus from what you don't have to what you already have. Take inventory of your accomplishments, no matter how small they may seem. Celebrate the progress you've made and give yourself credit for the effort you've put in. When you practice gratitude, you develop a positive mindset that helps you appreciate your own journey. Gratitude shifts your perspective from lack to abundance. You stop focusing on what others have, and you start recognizing all the blessings and opportunities in your own life. Another way to focus on yourself is to set your own goals, independent of anyone else's achievements. Don't measure your goals based on what someone else has done or what you think you should be doing. Ask yourself, what do I want to achieve? What do I want my life to look like? What steps can I take today to get closer to that vision? When you set goals based on your own desires and values, you start to build a path that is uniquely yours. Your goals will feel more authentic and fulfilling because they align with who you truly are, not who you think you should be based on someone else's life. Another powerful tool in focusing on yourself is embracing the idea that your pace is your own. Too often we think there's some universal clock ticking away, and if we don't hit certain milestones by certain ages, we've missed the boat. But the truth is, there is no set pace for life. You might not get married by 25 or have a six-figure job by 30, and that's perfectly okay. Your life is not a timeline, it's a journey. Trust that when you're ready, the right opportunities will come, and everything will unfold in its own time. Be patient with yourself and trust that you are exactly where you need to be. In the end, focusing on yourself isn't about becoming obsessed with your own success or selfishly disregarding others. It's about honoring your own journey, recognizing your worth, and allowing yourself to grow at your own pace. It's about realizing that you don't have to live up to anyone else's standards or follow anyone else's path. Your life is yours to live, and there's no need to compare it to anyone else's. The only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. Keep working on yourself, stay focused on your own growth, and trust that everything else will fall into place.